Ahmed ibn Abdul Halim, Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah. Shaykh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, he dedicated his entire life to the Quran, studying it, teaching it, conveying it, and most importantly, defending the Quran. And it was said about him in his biography that in normal times, normal days, he would complete the Quran once every 10 days. Once every 10 days. This is his normal routine. كل 10 أيام يختم. So every month he finishes the Quran 3 times. Later on in his life, it was decreed that he was put behind bars. He was imprisoned. And they took away all of his books, and they took away all of the things that he used to keep himself busy with from knowledge. And so he turned to the Quran, and he completed the Quran over 80 times. And on the 81st time, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decreed for his soul to be taken out of his body. And he completed his life reading the concluding verses of Surah Al-Qamar. إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَنَهَرٍ فِي مَقْعَدِ صِدْقٍ عِنْدَ مَلِيكٍ مُقْتَدِرٍ. Indeed, the righteous, they will be in gardens. وَنَهَرٍ, and they would be in rivers as reward, in Jannah. في مقعد صدق, they will be on seats of honor. عند مليك, with the King, the Almighty subhanahu wa ta'ala. حالة كونه مقتدر, and Allah is the all able. His soul was taken out reading this. There's more to it. Imagine he said at the end of his life, وَنَدِمْتُ, and I regretted, على تضييع أكثر أوقاتي في غير معاني القرآن. And I regretted at the end of his life, bitter regret from an Imam, that I spent most of my life doing other things than the tafsir of the Quran and engaging in the exegesis and the meaning of the Quran. His whole life was the Quran. If you didn't know about the Quran and you met that Imam, or you read his biography even if you didn't meet him, you would think the Quran is volumes and volumes and volumes and volumes. How many times he cites it, he quotes it, he narrates it. قال الله تعالى, and Allah said this. He's teaching it. He would produce a tafsir on one verse of the Quran, volumes and volumes and volumes, one ayah. His whole life was spent on the Quran, but he realized at the end of it that he could have spent more time with the Quran and less time doing other than that. إِنَّ الْمُتَّقِينَ فِي جَنَّاتٍ وَنَهَرٍ فِي مَقْعَدِ صِدْقٍ عِنْدَ مَلِيكٍ مُقْتَدِرٍ. A shahada for this Imam, a testimony, it is that if he wasn't truthful to the Quran, Allah would have not caused him to die reading the Quran. Because you can't choose how you die. You can't choose to die in prostration. You can't choose to die and receive shahada and martyrdom on the battlefield. You can't choose to die at Hajj and in Mecca. You can't choose to die reading the Quran if you don't live by it. Right? مَنْ عَاشَ عَلَى شَيْءٍ مَاتَ عَلَيْهِ. The one who lives by something, he dies by it. So him saying that and him teaching the people the Quran like that, and the people who lived with him and lived after him, writing about him and telling us and transmitting to us as the latecomers that this was how his life was, we understand later that this is true, this was true, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala caused him to die reading the Quran at the same time. And not only that, he died reading verses about righteous people who dedicate their time to the Quran and the like. So we hope that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, He makes us like this Imam.